We've got game three, Mariners versus Tigers, happening tonight. I'm going to give you the full breakdown of that game, everything you need to know from Jack Flaherty's arsenal to what changes and adjustments the Mariners need to make to win this series. And then I'm going to finally give you just a little recap of what's going around baseball in terms of the other divisional series that are going on and who we could play uh, in the next series if we move on. Hi, guys. I'm Sam Edwards. Welcome to Mariners Daily, episode 16 of Mariners Daily. We're moving right along. The podcast for the Thinking Mariners fan. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode, and I hope you get some enjoyment, some value, and yeah, just hopefully we have a good time. Is that also on the board? I think that's on the board. Either way, game preview for the Mariners versus the Tigers game three. We've got Logan Gilbert versus Jack Flaherty. First, um let me start with Jack Flaherty here. Also, in terms of the Tigers offense as well, they have not they've not performed amazingly. So listen, we're gonna be okay. Either way, let's get to Jack Flaherty. Sorry, I'm losing my spacing here. Um Flaherty this season had a very up and down year. 161 innings pitched, a 27.6 K percentage. Fantastic. 8.7 walk percentage. Decent. The homers are the problem for Flaherty, and this is where the Mariners need to take advantage. 1.29 home runs per nine, a 305 BABIP against for Flaherty. And then he finished the year with a 4.64 ERA, pretty high, and then a 3.85 FIP, which you kind of figure with the high K percentage, the FIP is going to be a lot lower. He throws majority four seam, curveball, and slider. Four seam is decently it's a lot. It's a 46.9% usage on the four seam this season. The miles per hour, he was not throwing half as hard this season, cruising right around 93 miles an hour. I thought he threw faster, honestly, with the four seam, but either way, he does get a decent amount of strikes with it. It's a good strike throwing pitch, but it's not amazing. It's 19.1 O swing percentage on the four seam, which it's not really an O swing pitch, anyways. But yeah, a 69% strike percentage, 7.7 swinging strike percentage, and then a 23.9 called strike percentage. That's what you're looking for with the four seam, which is where the Mariners do need to take advantage because the curveball and slider are pretty lethal. The curveball, he throws 25% of the time. It has a 43.6 O swing percentage, the percentage of time that batters swing outside the zone. That's what the O stands for. O swing percentage. The amount of times people are swinging outside of the zone on the curveball is 43%. So the curveball is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It also has a good enough 61 strike percentage, which is very good for a curveball, I feel like. 21.2 for the swinging strike percentage. In total, CSW percentage on the curveball is a 32.4. That's very good. The curveball is very good. The slider is no slouch as well. He throws that about 23% of the time. Not super fast, 84.9 miles an hour. It's not a terribly fast slider. O swing percentage is nice, 31%. And then the strike percentage is right around 60 as well for that. 13.2 swinging strike percentage. And then a better called strike percentage on the slider. That's kind of he's a little bit more willing to throw that in the zone, which makes me feel like we could take advantage of that as well. A 16 called strike percentage total for the CSW, which is called strike plus swinging strike percentage. Uh, 29.1, which is fine. It's not amazing. The slider is not as amazing. He did start to increase the usage as the season went along. He started off throwing the slider more, and then it dipped, throwing the curve more than the slider. And then as the season, I think starting right around July, if I'm remembering correctly, starting right around July, he just started throwing the slider more and more and more. So it might be getting back to the pitch that it used to be. Last year, his slider was definitely his number two pitch, but the curveball has been very good this season. So I would definitely watch out for that. But the key with Flaherty and the key that the Mariners need to focus on is taking care of that fastball. Because, like I said, the homer issues 1.29 home runs per nine. They need and that's because of the fastball. That is because of the four seam. He throws it in the zone, and he's not throwing it very fast these days. Last year, I wanna say he was cruising around 94, 95 miles an hour, and that's not anymore. So, the four seam is what you need to take advantage of when it comes to Flaherty. And we've got a couple guys that could do it, that could take care of it. Um, one name in particular that I will cover later. Yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to take advantage of the four seam. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. I think. Maybe not. Either way, we're fine. Let's keep moving here. Let's break down Gilbert here for this start because Logan Gilbert needs to come through here for the Mariners. And I'm gonna go through what the best case scenario is, but in the meantime, let's just cover the season that he's had. Kind of a similar season, weirdly similar to Flaherty, but obviously better. 131 innings pitched for Logan Gilbert, a 32.3 K percentage. Now, listen, I'm saying Flaherty strikes out a lot of guys. There is a difference with Logan Gilbert. 32.3% of the time he's striking you out. Fantastic. Only a 5.8 walk percentage. That's even lower than I thought. It was oh my gosh. It's really good. Really good. He does give up the homers though. That is where he's also similar to Flaherty. 1.37 home runs per nine. It's because of that four seam. That four seam moves right up in the zone. Only a 276 BABIP, 78.1 left on base percentage as well. A 3.44 ERA on the season for Logan Gilbert, a 3.35 FIP. He's had a very good season. He doesn't go very deep into games. That's the key. And you know what? That's kind of why I thought his walk percentage was going to be higher than a 5.8 because he doesn't go very deep into games. And I don't think that's Dan Wilson just having a quick hook. I think that's just Gilbert getting to high pitch counts. And I think it's also because he does not play to contact very often. He's a strikeout pitcher. And when you're a strikeout pitcher and you're living and dying by the strikeout, you're going to throw a lot of pitches. People are going to foul them off and you're going to miss the zone and they're not going to swing sometimes. And yeah. So either way, we know the pitch mix, but I'll go through it anyways. Four seam, slider, splitter. Four seam, he throws about 36% of the time, 95 miles an hour. The four seam is the key with Gilbert. If he is spotting the fastball and then also getting swings and misses on the fastball is very key. And that's when we've seen Gilbert at his best, it's because people are swinging and missing on that four seam, which is really big. It has a very nice 72 strike percentage, which is fantastic. 10.5 swinging strike percentage, and then a 20.7 called strike percentage. Total for that is a 31.2 CSW percentage on the four seam, which he throws about 36% of the time, which is not a whole lot. And I would almost when Gilbert is going good, I want to see that above 40%. But when he's not going good, then he has to rely on the splitter and the slider. Slider's up next. He's throwing it almost just as much as the four seam. 35% of the time he's throwing it. He throws it a little bit faster than Flaherty does as well. 87 miles an hour. O swing percentage is a nice 31% of the time. A good 66.8 strike percentage on the slider. 16.6 called strike percentage. Sorry, swinging strike percentage. Oh boy, I'm losing it, guys. Let's stay focused here. 18.8 called strike percentage, a total 35.4 called strike, sorry, CSW percentage. Fantastic for Gilbert on the slider there. The slider is a key pitch for him, and then obviously going for the strikeout, you're going with the splitter. And my gosh, does it get swings and misses, man. And do people go swinging out of their shoes on that splitter because it is so freaking nasty. And it is not just an up and down splitter, it goes a little bit to the right as well, which is pretty freaking nasty, dude. He throws it 19.6% of the time. He has a 45 O swing percentage. Crazy. Not a very high strike percentage as well, as you'd expect, a 58 strike percentage, but that's not even terrible for a splitter. It's kind of crazy. 29.3 swinging strike percentage. 29, 29 is a swinging strike percentage is crazy. Yeah, he doesn't get called strikes with it. But it's a freaking splitter. Like, you don't want him to get called strikes with it. And that's kind of why Gilbert is that's why he has the 32.3 K percentage. That's why. You've got really three very good pitches with the four seam slider and splitter. Best case scenario, though, I will say I want to, let's calm our expectations down a little bit. Gilbert is not the guy to go deep into games. I could easily see him going 5 innings and then them pulling him, depending on how the offense is doing for the Mariners. I would love to see 6 innings, right around seven to nine strikeouts. I think that's as good as we can hope for Gilbert right now. And yeah, that would be great. I'm expecting. I mean, the Tigers' offense has been kind of frustrating for us. But then at the same time, I don't think we have to be as aggressive with the bullpen changes, possibly. I don't know, man. It's a best of 5 series. It's gonna be close. Whoever wins that second game, it's gonna be so important. So maybe you be just as aggressive. I'm curious to see where Dan Wilson goes after Gilbert and where in the lineup we're sitting in this game. But I could easily see 4 and 2/3 innings pitched for Gilbert as well, just like what we did for Castillo. But we'll see. We'll see. It's all about the offense, man. It's all about the offense. And we're gonna get there in a second. But yeah, Gilbert, I if he wins 6 innings, 6 shutout innings, 9 strikeouts, I think that is best case scenario. We're cruising. Take him out of the game. Awesome. Thank you, Gilbert. You're a stud. I think that's best case scenario. I could see him getting into trouble maybe a little bit early, maybe leaving a fastball up. Once again, the homers are a problem. So, especially for a guy that lives up in the zone with the fastball, Kerry Carpenter is always going to be a problem. He's always going to be scary. Obviously, we saw that homer off of Kirby, that high fastball that he homered off of. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And obviously, yeah, Spire could be the key. Let's get to the adjustments here for this game that the Mariners need to make. These are changes. These are adjustments the Mariners need to make to win this series, in my opinion. Obviously, in my opinion, but they're irrefutable. Versus Flaherty, the guy I'm looking at here is Josh Naylor. Flaherty throws the fastball 46% of the time, and Josh Naylor is very good versus the fastball. That is by far what he is best at, is hitting that fastball. What he is worst at is facing those breaking pitches. He had a 253 batting average against breaking pitches, 437 slugging percentage, which is not that bad. And this just speaks to like how good Naylor has been this season. 396 X slugging percentage, expected slugging percentage, and a 238 expecting batting average. So both of those are dialed down a little bit. But they're not terrible. They're not terrible stats. But I'm looking at the fastball. Give me a high fastball and Naylor's going deep. Like we've got to get Naylor. And I was saying this yesterday. If you haven't, if you didn't listen to yesterday's episode, I would highly recommend it for a full recap on games 1 and 2 for the Mariners. But Josh Naylor is the key right now. He is the key. We need him to come through. And listen, I will say we could win this series. We could win this series without Josh Naylor. But the thing I'm saying is just that we've used the bullpen so much already. The starters are keeping us in the game, but they're not going deep into games. And that's okay to a certain extent. But you do have a guy like Bryce Miller you're kind of planning on him going game 4. And if Bryce Miller's going game 4, then that means you got to have the quickest hook in the world. So quick. Bringing in Emerson Hancock at the first sign of trouble. But, and our, my point being, our pitching is keeping us in the game, but our hitting is keeping the other team in the game. Our hitting has not been what it's supposed to. Like I said, game 1, like I said yesterday, game 1, everybody besides Raleigh and J Rod were 0 for 28 in that game. And game 2 was better, but it wasn't amazing. And they still weren't. at the center of those key moments. And yes, Raleigh and J Rod are our studs. They are our stars, and they are the guys that are going to carry us at the end of the day. We are going to live and die by them. But you need guys like Josh Naylor, Canzone, Randy. You need those guys to come through. Gino. You need those guys to turn it up. And we've just Naylor was just so good for us once we trade for him, and we need him to come through. And I think a fastball from Flaherty might be the perfect opportunity to get Mr. Naylor back on track. And it's possible. He's also not very good versus the breaking pitches. Flaherty's got two good ones in the curve and slider. So look for that. Look for him. Look for Naylor to get a fastball early and punish it. Canzone is very good versus fastballs and breaking pitches. He should be able to cover all from Flaherty. Look for Canzone to get started, get him going, and then also for Gilbert, if they got to pull him early, it's probably going to be because of him facing a lefty coming up. And Spire, I think, should be the first out of the bullpen if it's a lefty. Obviously, Carpenter, Riley Green, Colt Keith, one of these guys. Spire obviously has had an amazing season, but especially versus lefties. Lefties are batting 179 against him with a 214 on base and a 302 slugging percentage versus Gabe Spire. Amazing, fantastic. He's a stud. He has been nails for us. He's been coming through in those moments, especially versus those big lefty batters. Gotta see it, man. Gotta see Spire coming out versus those guys. Luzardo obviously could be the first guy out if it's not one of those guys. But yeah, I think Spire's got to get those big outs. And that's not an adjustment. We just got to keep it going, really. That's, but the things that need to change is the offense. The offense needs to come through. Need the offense. We cannot push, game 1 is not Carlos Vargas's fault for giving up that run. It's the fact that we couldn't score off the Tigers bullpen. Couldn't score. Couldn't do it. Floundering. Not striking out. It's not like they were dominant. We had 8 strikeouts in that game, like, total for the team. Like, what are we doing here? Gotta score. Have to score. Gotta get this offense going. Can't just be J-Rod and Raleigh. Nobody gets to the World Series with just 2 guys. 2 guys carrying us. And obviously the pitching kept us in the game, like I said, but offense needs to get going. As soon as that happens, it can allow us to take a deep breath, which it felt like we have not been able to do. We have not been able to take a deep breath, and it's because the offense is giving us no room to breathe. Score some runs. Naylor, capture a fastball. Canzone, get going, baby. And playoff Randy, let's go. What are we doing? Let's get going, boys. Holy crap. All right, finishing off. Let's cover this divisional series. What's going around the league? What's happening? What teams are winning? What teams are losing? First off, let's start in the NL. Brewers versus Cubs. The Brewers won last night 7-3. They are up 2-0 in that series. We are the only team that it's 1-1. We won a game. And the Tigers won a game. All the other series are 2-0 right now. Crazy. Did not expect this. Brewers versus Cubs. Man, it felt like it's felt like their games have been close. But the Brewers offense is unrelenting right now. Game 1 was 9-3. They won it. And then game 2, the Cubs started the scoring early with a 3-run homer in the first. And then they did nothing else the rest of the game. And the Brewers followed up in the second inning with a 3-run homer of their own from Andrew Vaughn. And then the rest of the game, Brewers got another 3-run homer. And that was it. Their bullpen shut them down. The rookie Jacob Morowski came out. He looked electric, 104 miles an hour from him. Crazy. The Brewers win that game 7-3. They're up 2-0. I don't know how the Cubs are going to dig themselves out of this hole, but they're going to have to if they're going to stay alive. Dodgers versus Phillies. Dodgers are up in that series 2-0. Game 1 was a very tight win, 5-3, and then game 2 was even tighter. It was even closer. It was 4-3. The Phillies were trying to fight back. I was rooting for the Phillies. I'm rooting for the Phillies in this series. A comeback would be really, really cool for them. Obviously, if the Phillies face the Mariners, they gotta root for the Mariners, baby. Gotta pull it through. But for the National League, I would like to see the Phillies move on, but it doesn't look like that's happening. I mean, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Obviously, they're dominant, they're amazing, they're incredible, they're ridiculous. So Phillies are down 2-0. Anything can happen though. It's freaking baseball, baby. In the AL, if we move on, we're facing one of these teams, and it's looking to be the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays are up 2-0 versus the Yankees. Game one was 10-1. Blue Jays win that one 10-1 is crazy. Game two was even crazier, 13-7. Dude, Blue Jays offense is crazy. We've seen Vladdy get into one. They've had so many home runs already in the first two games. Little scary. If we do move on and the Blue Jays move on, I'm gonna need to break down that team and we're gonna need to figure out how the Mariners can win because Blue Jays are looking like a team to beat right now. And the Yankees are can't do much. I mean, when your guy in Max Fried just gets destroyed in game two, where you go from there, man. Pitching's not going to get too much better. So Blue Jays are doing their thing right now, and they're a little scary. Little scary. We don't need to face them yet. We need to finish this series versus the Tigers, a series that I felt like I was going to be so much more confident coming back after the weekend. I really did. I thought I was going to be really confident. I thought we were going to be cruising. I thought we were going to be looking good. But you know what? We're moving. And honestly, realistically, I thought the game versus Scooble was the one that we would lose going into the weekend. So 1-1, totally fine. We got Gilbert on the mound. He's better than Flaherty, and we gotta prove it. And we gotta wake up this offense. Wake it up, boys. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. Sam Edwards, checking out. We'll see you back tomorrow with a full game recap. Have a good one.